the bit in it the other day that I played where I was like,
Mm.
oh my god, what have I done? Like I genuinely felt like
Yeah.
I'd made a big mistake. It's a bit like jumping off a high diving board. It's scary until you do it.
Yeah.
But once you've done it, once you take the leap and you realize it's fine, you can go and do it 10 times again. It's
Sure.
an awkward time to do it on your podcast.
Yeah, it
But I
is. It
think
is.
that's it for us.
Now
It's
is the
over.
time. Welcome everyone to the second episode of the Dead Friend Redemption podcast. So if you're on YouTube, you can see who's our guest, but if you're on Spotify, you won't be able to. So welcome Charm the Gamer. So you must know him already from YouTube or TikTok or Twitch. You will have seen his live streams, whether you're playing Red Dead Redemption 2, playing Last of Us, or most recently Red Dead RP. But first of all, Charm, how you doing, mate? You good?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I like this beginning bit where we pretend like we haven't been speaking for 5 minutes before. It's
40
good.
minutes, yeah. Yeah, so if anyone knows me anyway, the setup always have issues with technology, yeah. But okay, that's cool. So, well, really today we're just going to be talking a little bit about your journey. Where have you been? Not literally today. You're going to say you popped into Tesco. It's a classic joke, but where you going in the future, and a little bit, how you've got in between, and some of the things, whether some of the pitfalls, some of the positives, and a little bit about you, really, mate. If that's cool.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I've charmed you.
You have charming. And I know about charming.
Yeah, you do.
I'm the top charmer, top
You're the
tier
top
charmer.
charmer. But first of all,
Um,
so if you listen to
yeah,
the last podcast, this is going to be a
yes,
regular occurrence that I've asked. So initially, as always, I do all my research. I spend hours upon hours of investing
hmm
time and effort and thousands of
yeah,
pounds on the questions for the podcast. So I went to
yeah,
Google and I found out what are the most common questions you should be asking to make a good podcast, right? So
yeah.
just your thoughts initially. What is the hardest challenge you've had to overcome in your life? What superpower? You don't have to answer. I just want your thoughts on imagine asking these for the first time you've ever met
Yeah,
someone.
I'm
What
gonna
super
steal all of these.
Yeah, take take what superpower do you wish you had? I don't think that's that bad, that one. I think that's quite of an
What's
icebreaker.
what soup power?
Yeah, superpower,
Uh,
yeah. Yeah.
um, like a carrot and coriander. I think
Character, I'll take that.
is
I'll
yeah,
take
it's
that.
a good one.
When do you think it's time to move on from a friendship since it feels one-sided?
Well, this is awkward, but I actually think now is the
Now,
time. I think
now's
this
the
is the time, and
time.
it's an awkward time to do it on your podcast.
Yeah, it
So I
is. It
think
is.
that's it for us.
Now
It's
is the
over.
time. So, guys, thank you for watching or listening. It's been a great one. Yeah. What is your favourite mental health resource? So, books, podcasts, people, apps. I think that's fine, but I think that's if you're going to be talking about like mental health, or you're right in the dive, or some real, you're talking about things that like real positivity and stuff. But I think it's quite a deep
Yeah,
question to start.
that is a deep question. Yeah,
These are opening questions.
these
These
are
aren't.
openers.
And the most important is,
Right.
what is the one idea that experts in your field say that you disagree with? That is literally just opening up for controversy.
You know, I mean, the problem with that one is, um, I'm so new to this shit. If
Mm.
we're talking about
Yeah.
if we're talking about streaming and gaming and stuff, who can I disagree with? They'd be
Yeah.
like, "You're an idiot. You've been at this for about 2 months. What are you doing?" I mean, it's been a little bit longer than 2 months. But yeah, I don't know. And nobody wants to
Crazy.
talk about what experts in my actual field fucking say.
It's just crazy,
This
though,
is
isn't it, when you
boring.
think about it. So, talking about yourself anyway, so how would you classify yourself? Would you say content creator, live streamer, or are you the perfect balance in between?
I don't think I'm the perfect anything. I think I'd prefer
Perfect
the way
charmer.
I see it, right? The perfect charm. Oh yeah, that's the one thing I'm absolutely. If you watch any of my stuff, you're like fucking hell. He's dull as fuck, but he is charming. Um, yeah, I think I would probably go content creator, and the reason is, I mean, I hate the word content. Right, the industry that I come from,
Mm.
I work in marketing, and you find yourself starting to use words like I create content, or you
Mm.
call in, the latest series on Netflix content. I think it's really diminishing of something that's, you'd never call like a really great film content. I really enjoyed that
No.
content at the cinema last night. I think so. My whole thing is I just wanted to be creative, right? I wanted to do creative stuff because I find that if I'm being creative and I'm making stuff, whatever that might be, that I feel slightly more fulfilled. So I would go down the route of content creator, and then everything outside of that is just like a tool to distribute your content. All right. So
Yeah.
I'm not a TikToker. I'm not a streamer. I'm not a Twitcher. I'm not this, that, or the other. For me, it's just like, right, I want to make stuff, and where do I need to put that in order to distribute it to as many people as I possibly can? So all I want to do is make stuff, make good stuff, make creative stuff, and get as many people to see it as I can, and hopefully they'll be entertained by it. That's my key thing. Is I just want to entertain people. That's when I'm happiest. It's quite a selfish thing to do because it's all about making me happy. If I can make people laugh, or I can entertain people, um, or make people happy, then quite selfishly, that makes me quite happy. So that's what I do. So content creator sounds a bit wanky to me. You might have to bleep some stuff in this because my language is terrible. But
So
yeah, it sounds a bit pretentious. These are all platforms that I just distribute my whatever I've created on. Whether that's a short video, whether it's a little film, whether it's a funny meme, whether it's a painting, whether it's a stupid song that I've written, whatever that might be.
yeah.
I suppose they're all types of content. But I think the term calling all this stuff content has really come from the marketing industry.
What do you enjoy the most though? What do you enjoy? Do you enjoy making? You've recorded it, edit it into a video, or do you like the engagement of the live stream?
I think I like them all for different reasons. Years and years ago, in my early 20s, I did stand up comedy, and the great thing about that was you get like you get instant gratification or instant crushing depression, one or the other, right? You know what works and you know what doesn't because people are absolutely responding to you at the minute. They either laugh or they don't. There's kind of no middle ground. So like live streams, it's a performance where you get instant feedback. And I like it because I edited a clip yesterday, which was somebody had asked me, what would you choose, God of War, Elden Ring? And when I watched it back, it felt like it was the essence of who I am, like how I would talk to my friends or how I would talk in my house. That clip there is how I am in real life, talking to people and explaining stuff. Quite a little bit over the top, very expressive, very sweary, but trying to be informative. And I find it really difficult still kind of finding my way around sticking a camera in front of myself in this little cabin in the back of my garden on my own and trying to replicate that expression because I'll be talking to you like this and it's fine, and if you put a camera in front of me, suddenly I'm like, hi and welcome to this latest video from me, Charm the Gamer, like I'm a local radio presenter or something, and you find yourself slipping into this thing that you think you should be because nobody realizes it is 100% harder than you think it's going to be to look into a camera and do an intro or do a video and make it seem like you're not just dead behind the eyes, So I like them both for different reasons. I like producing the content. Like if you see some of the stuff that me and Melvin have been messing about with, which is just this organic thing that came about, like this call and response thing. I
quite like
that
it. It's fun
because it feels like it feels like they're little short films that are kind of semi-scripted. There's a bit of a story arc developing there, and it feels like it's nice. But the live streams, it's that bouncing off your audience. They're horrible, by the way, when you first start and you've got 0 people in there, and you are just in a room talking to yourself, and you're just like, I'm just gonna walk down here and see what's down here. Oh no, there's nothing down here, and nobody can see it anyway, so it doesn't matter. But then as you get like, I've got a small audience, but they're in there all the time. They're really, and part of the reason they stay is because I'm so grateful to have them in there that I'm just interacting with them all the time. So, like, one is a live performance, the other is you putting stuff out there, and it's much harder to gauge, as opposed to unless you're looking at views and engagement and content, comments and likes and that kind of stuff. You're not getting that instant reaction.
No.
And often with some stuff, it's like, you put something out on YouTube and you're like, that's going to live there forever. Maybe in 6 months it'll do something. Maybe it won't. Maybe it'll do something instantly. It's really hard to tell when things are going to kick off and how well they're going to do.
I think it's really interesting to see, like, if you think about what you said at the start, You know, like you like the fact of it's. I wouldn't say like you said before. It's not like self-absorbed. It's about like being. You like the fact of making other people happy. You love the fact of you make other people laugh. And I think people have always said that with stand-up comics. You know, and TikTok. I've never thought of it like that. It's like a performance, isn't it? When you do a live stream or you're
Yeah.
talking about it. It's crazy. Think about it. You know, when you start, everyone has different journeys and stuff. But thinking about it, just
Mm.
when I started, I just did it as like I like the game, thought I'd stream it. But for yours, it's
Hmm.
like you want to make other people happy, you want to make other people laugh, and that's obviously credit to your character. You know, so you just want it people to enjoy it and have build an atmosphere with people having great fun, maybe laughing at your expense, laughing with them, but it's building a community
It
as
might
well.
it might be like testament to my character, or it
Yeah,
might be testament to like a real character flaw that where I'm just like I'm not fulfilled unless like there's a real neediness. I think this is true of comics. Like comedians that
yeah,
they are fulfilled by that laughter, and there's a danger to that because the other side, especially on social media, the other side
mm,
of it is that sometimes people will shit all over you, and you
yeah,
you put something out there that you think is good or you think is entertaining, and then someone comes in and goes, uh, said something to you, and I think as much as we say, just ignore that stuff or whatever, you do see it, and it does play
yeah,
on you a little bit, and you do question is what they're saying true. But for those one people, there's probably 10 people who are really really grateful for it. Um, but yeah, I think that's just my thing is that I spent a long time going, am I happy in what I'm doing in my day job? Does
mhm,
that fulfill me? And I was happy for a long time doing that, but it wasn't fulfilling me like in a creative way at all. So I went through this process of going, well, what are the times that I've been happy? And
mhm,
it's always around these, you know, either doing stand up or I used to make these stupid like fake radio episodes. This was
right,
at
okay,
work. I would do like a fake radio episode as if it was from the
yeah,
company and send it to my mates, and it was me doing all these different characters and having conversations and interviewing people on this fake radio station, and it just made me happy to do
yeah,
that kind of stuff. So I was like, all right, I need to be creative, and creativity in a vacuum it doesn't mean anything. So you got to have people. If you don't put it out there to people, it may as well not exist. So that's what I decided to do. But game streaming was never the first
no,
choice. I just didn't get it at all. I couldn't. I don't know about you, but I've got like nieces and nephews and kids, and they're watching Twitch and TikTok, and I'm like, what is this?
yeah.
What are you doing? Makes no sense to me. And then of course, a year later, I'm like absolutely
You're
glued
streaming
to
to them.
TikTok and Twitch. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's it. That's it. So
But I would say you're a very
it
creative
definitely
person
definitely
because I
took
think
me.
if you're on YouTube, you can see the back of Charm, seeing his background. Obviously, he's got pictures, and I remember when I first joined your lives, you're giving away pictures or paintings of stuff. So you've got
Hmm.
that creative aspect, and I think you've got to be, a little bit different as well. You think about it, if you want to be creative, there's a lot of people who, they just play video games and stream it. But I think you've got a different
Mm.
edge to you. You've got more. You can definitely see, and relaying back to your point around, doing videos, doing response videos to Melvin. They're not just, hey Melvin, happy birthday or whatever. You're putting some effort into it, and you could definitely see more of a performer, and that definitely relies to creation. But obviously, I know obviously we're a bit older, right? So let's
Mm.
just take it out of the room for the younger guys.
Yeah.
But when did you feel that sort of like creative spark started? Was it recent, or was it the last 5 years? Or have you literally always had it? You've always had, I want to be creative. I'm always doing this. Like,
Yeah, I think I'm quite obsessive about stuff.
yeah,
So if I start something, I'll be quite obsessive about it, but potentially only for a short period of time. So I've tried lots of different stuff. Like when I was in my teens, I was doing, like probably in secondary school,
mhm.
I was doing like card magic and coin magic. Like I was into
Okay,
magic and,
cool.
and that kind of stuff. Um, then in my early 20s, I started doing stand up, and I did that for about a year, like doing like open mic nights around London and different areas of the country. Um, I've done bits of writing, I've done bits of painting. I've done more kind of formal stuff that I suppose is creative, like website design
Hmm.
and that kind of stuff. Um, and all of that stuff leads to a point where you build up this kind of cache of skills
Hmm.
that all I'm basically using all of them now for various different reasons. So I've always been creative, but there's definitely been points in between where I did music at college as well. I used to be in bands and busk, and so I've always done something.
Yeah.
But there's been gaps in between that, and I think probably when I left college, or certainly when I left college, I kind of stopped playing guitar and chasing after that music
Hmm.
thing because I was like, I want to go and make money. That was my thing, is I wanted to go and make money, and I thought that would be a good route for me, and that's what I did basically for the next, with little gaps to go and do comedy. I was still
Yeah.
making money at
Hmm.
the time, but basically just moved up and up in a career until I got to a point where I was like, I'm making a lot more money now,
Hmm.
but like fundamentally, my happiness levels haven't changed all that much. I'm more comfortable financially, but I'm not any happier than I
No.
was. In some ways, I was probably happier, when I was in college working at McDonald's than I was when I was earning 10
Mm.
times that amount, 100 times that amount, whatever that might be. Where I am now, but don't get me wrong, the money helps you. It affords you things like being able to buy nice cameras and decent microphones and
Mhm.
set you up. But then you also realize when you get started in streaming or in content creation that none of that shit matters either.
No.
Having a nicer camera doesn't get you more viewers in. Having a better lighting setup doesn't get you more viewers in. Those are all things that just will enhance things over time and give people a better experience, but doesn't draw anybody in for you.
No.
Um,
I think
you, you know,
especially on
you can do
TikTok
that
as
with a
well.
webcam.
You could
Yeah,
basically have your camera off. You could have like a dark room, and you could be streaming like a Roblox game or something. You could get 10,000 people in there. Well, it's crazy
yeah,
when you're
yeah,
thinking of playing like Last of Us, where it's a really high developed game, really engaging, where you might get two or three in. It's crazy. It's crazy.
yeah, yeah. It's swings and roundabouts. And I think you just have to, you have to have this is what I want to do,
Yeah.
and then you go and do that, and you might adjust things over time, and but then you just continuously do that, and then slowly, organically over time, people who what you're doing resonates with them come in and they stick around. Hopefully,
Do you think
that's
your
my idea anyway.
do you think your concepts changed from when you started? So obviously, I know you said already like you couldn't a year ago, and I was absolutely in the same like field as you, as and thinking, why would anyone watch a streamer? To now you're
Mm.
now you're streaming on a regular basis. But since you started, so how long have you been? Would you say you've been streaming for? 3 months, 4 months, 2 months?
Uh,
I
you know
think it was
what?
like
I don't know. Like
June or something, wasn't it?
consistently, yeah,
Yeah.
consistently. Maybe when did I do it? When the last God of War came out? When
Oh,
was
okay,
that?
okay,
I think that was the first game I streamed. God
okay.
of War Ragnarok
That was this year then, wasn't
release.
it?
Let me just Google that. Yeah, I mean it was this year, so that
May.
was. Oh no, sorry, that was like November last year.
Okay.
But I was just like, I was doing a bit where I was like, I just had Twitch on my PlayStation as an integration. I didn't
Right.
have a
Okay.
camera or anything. Um, but yeah, only like maybe the last 6 months or something where I'm streaming these
Yeah.
days. Had a conversation with
You
my
got consistency.
fiance and was like, yeah, these days I'm going to stream.
Yeah.
I've got it set up so I can do that with a camera and lights and all of that kind of stuff. Um, and be able to there are some technical
Yeah.
requirements I think to stream at a certain level. Having a PC to stream through and
Mhm.
all that technical stuff to figure out. But yeah, probably for about 6 months consistently, I think.
So for newer streamers, how is that transition of you're just playing on your PlayStation, because you see it loads of people playing the PlayStation. I was exactly the same. I was just streaming my Xbox. I remember
Mm.
the first ever stream I did. I think it's still on YouTube actually, and I was so scared to push the microphone on, and I've always said it. Someone asked me a question, I was like, I just typed it instead, and I was just so scared of thinking. And then, how would you feel of people who want to take that initial jump of, I like playing, I don't know, GTA, for example, want to stop streaming it? And also, what
Mm.
advice would you give to people who are streaming, but they don't show their face? And would you say there's a benefit to both?
So like making the jump to streaming. Um, I think I mean there are some people that just stream. It's a
Yeah,
silent stream. It's just a game, and that some of them get a lot of views on TikTok if you're
yeah,
playing the right game. But doesn't interest me
no,
particularly. It doesn't engage me. Um, and I think if you want people to like be loyal, if you want to create like
yeah,
loyalty around your stream, they have to know who you are, or
hmm
at least understand you. There's another level to that, and if you look back on my old TikToks when it was more art focused. I was wearing a mask, and you'll see it on some of my
mm,
stories. I wanted to do it anonymously
yeah,
as charm, this kind of, in my head it was like, oh, this guy wearing a weird mask with a painted line across it would be unique. And then when I got into it, I was like, fucking hell, there's 50 people doing the mask thing. Like it's not even then,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not unique. So I think taking the leap to streaming is fairly easy if you've got a console. I think I don't know about Xbox. I'm sure it has, but PlayStation has like an integration with Twitch, for example, so you can
yeah. I think
just
so, man. Yeah,
click a button and it streams it for you if you've got a Twitch account. Um, and it will use your whatever mic setup you've got on
yeah,
your thing. And you can actually, I think you can also get the PlayStation camera and all that kind of stuff, connect cameras to it. But for me, my PlayStation's in my living room,
yeah.
and it's not really set up for that.
No, no.
So I would have had stuff like on tripods in the middle of the living room, and my missus would have left me. Um, but so the leap in terms of like confidence, there is. I don't think
Mm,
there's like a formula for that. It's a bit like jumping off a high diving board. It's scary until you do it,
yeah,
but once you've done it, once you take the leap and you realize it's fine, you can go and do it 10 times again.
sure.
If you take a big break, it becomes difficult again. You build up
Yeah,
that fear again. But for me, you just got to hit the button. You can start. You can start with no camera. You can start with a camera. Either way, it's just about starting. Once
yeah,
you've started, it will get easier and easier from then. And then for me, there wasn't a world in which I could, even when I was streaming without a camera, it wasn't because it was just because I didn't have a camera. It wasn't
right,
because
okay.
I didn't want to. For me, it always felt like all the big streamers I'd watched, all the people that I enjoyed
hmm
watching, it was about them, not necessarily the game. And that's kind of what I wanted to be. So turning your camera on and talking, I, I think that's the big thing that gets people in and gets them to
Yeah,
stay, and will get people to stay beyond the current game that you're playing. Most of my audience comes from Red Dead 2, I think, initially.
hmm
There's some people that came in when I was playing Jedi Survivor. There's a few
hmm
people from before that. In fact, I think Jedi Survivor might have been the first like game that I was playing where I was streaming consistently,
okay.
and a load of them have stayed. Um, presumably because they're here to communicate with me. They're
Yeah,
here to engage with me, not here to necessarily engage with the game. In fact, sometimes I'll be playing a game. I played Dead Space, and all of my chat was sat there talking about Red Dead Redemption 2. They just kind of got on with it. It's just slightly frustrating for me, but it's the audience. It's really clear from the audience what they want and what they don't want.
I think you made such a
Um,
valid point there, though, and it's like you think about it. So, if you're a streamer who you're just streaming a game, right? So if you're just streaming Red Dead Redemption 2, you've got no mic, that will only be a lifespan of 1, 2,
mm,
3 months so you complete it. That's absolutely fine. But like if you're thinking of long-term expansion and if you want to make it a full-time career, you want to make it about, there has to be an investment into yourself. And that was obviously for me the first point of then it went to microphone. So I was talking when I got a PC and I
mhm,
think it's like if you put a video out on YouTube or if you put a video out on TikTok and it doesn't show your face, how does it know it's different from you to someone else unless they see your profile name? So it's
mm.
thinking about how do you, if you want to do that and you want it to be you, you have to put your face, and it's that leap of faith of, oh no, what if this happens? What if that happens? And it is
Yeah,
scary, but like you said, once you've got the mic on, once you've got the camera on, it releases a lot of pressure. It does release.
yeah.
It's
I,
crazy.
I, I always look at it like, when I'm doing stuff like this, and lots of stuff
Mm.
in my life, I just always ask the question like, what's the very worst thing that can happen?
Yeah,
If that happens, can I deal with it? And if the answer is yes, then just fuck it and do it. Like what's the worst thing that can happen when you're streaming live? I mean, you have complete control.
yeah,
Someone's going to come in and troll you, so what? You can block them, you can mute them. You can end your stream if you want to. You can,
yeah,
there's all you have complete control over what you're putting out. Um, so I just think it's a no-brainer really. And for me, when you watch like Gogglebox, if you were to explain Gogglebox as a TV
Hmm.
show to someone where it's like there's a bunch of people watching TV and commenting on it, you'd be like, this is absolutely mental. I mean, that's exactly what streaming
It's
is.
exactly what it is.
It's watching people experience something else, right?
Yeah.
Um, and 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 when you're playing games at home on your own, especially if if you're playing first person shooters with your mates, it's much more communicative. But if I'm playing a game on my own, I'm saying the same shit to the
Hmm.
TV
Yeah. Yeah.
as I would be on stream. It's
Yeah.
just the only difference is you may be a bit more conscious about, oh, I haven't spoken for a little bit, or I've been hyper focused, or oh, I've got to do this thing where I say, I'll keep the lights going up, guys, or if you're watching and you
Yeah.
haven't followed, follow. There's some kind of tropes that you need to get right, but for the most part, it's just like experience the game and try and experience it and communicate, with the
Hmm.
game in as an authentic way as possible, and they just get to experience it. In fact, I think you said to me when just after like we kind of connected, I think you
Hmm.
kind of fell into my stream. I came into your stream afterwards, and the whole thing was it's really interesting to watch someone
Hmm.
experience Red Dead Redemption 2 for the first time
Yeah.
without I hadn't had any spoilers for the game, so
Spoily, isn't
everything
it?
I was watching was for the first time. And it's almost the perfect game to
Yeah.
see someone react to because there's so many twists and turns in it.
Hmm.
And that's all I tried to do. And your numbers will go up and down, especially as a variety streamer.
Yeah.
It will go game by game, but
Oh yeah.
hopefully with each game you pick up a few new people. I got people that came in from Dead Space, got people that came in from Jedi Survivor. I got people. Dead Space was the worst game so far that I've streamed in terms of numbers, but I still
Yeah.
picked
Yeah.
up some followers from it. Red Dead Redemption 2, The Last of Us, all of those people, all of those games have brought me in a different type of person. And some of those will stick and some of those will leave.
I think so. Obviously, talking about I know you've got your own podcast when you've spoke to other streamers as well, and obviously picking up on the
Mm.
variety stream a bit. How do you feel that will benefit you as well? Because obviously, for myself, I'm mainly just around Rockstar. Do you
Hmm.
think that will give you like a long term benefit?
I think there's pros and cons to it.
Hmm.
I think the reason I do that is because I'm fairly new to gaming anyway.
Hmm.
I think I probably said this before on a couple of occasions, but I started gaming properly. I'd had a Switch, but I started gaming properly when the PS5 was released. I got it release that
Yeah.
Christmas. We got it, and it was mainly so I could play Warzone with my mates online. That was basically the reason I
Mm.
got it. Before that, I played a lot of Fortnite on Switch, and that was
Okay. Cool.
basically it. I was just playing first person
Yeah.
shooters, and I was pretty, I was bad at them. But then, so I think the first like AAA rated game that I played
Yeah.
was the 2018 God of War.
Okay. Cool.
I was like, this is amazing. I was like,
Mm.
this is absolutely phenomenal. And that was like a PS4 game. It was just
Yeah.
in their library. My mate says to me, "Yeah, you have to play that." And I played it, and I was like, "This is so immersive." It felt like watching a film where you get to kind of
Mm.
dictate specific sections of it. So I never wanted to go like I said to my mates, I can't play Warzone anymore,
No.
mate.
No.
It's doing my head in. It's such a grind. I get killed by sweats every time. I'm not good enough at it, and I take too big a break in between. As
Mm.
soon as I get to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm
You put it
decent.
down.
You
Yeah.
take 2 weeks off, and then you come back and you just
Back to zero.
shooting
Yeah.
birds in the sky. It's crazy. So I want to experience. I love story driven
Yeah.
games. I've got more into open world games with playing stuff like Elden Ring, which was probably my proudest gaming moment was actually completing that. It took me 150 hours
Oh, yeah. I saw
just
it
to
yesterday.
just to
Yeah.
get through it.
Someone said the story is like
Absolutely
70
ridiculous.
to 150, but you can put 1,000 in, you can still not find anything.
Mate, it's crazy. I know people who've got you know 1,000. The map is huge,
Hmm.
and every single boss you come across is absolutely brutal. In
It's
fact, the
crazy.
first guy that you see as you walk out of the first field, there's a guy on a horse. And in most games, you'd like, oh, they've obviously put him here so you can go and have a chat with him, and he's
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
guide you where to go. You walk up to him, and he absolutely obliterates you. I'd probably put I'd probably put 80 hours into the game before I went back to the guy that's in the first field and was able to
Right.
beat him. It's just crazy. And the first guy I fought in that, I thought it was a boss, very, very near the start. It's this big troll that jumps down.
Hmm.
And because it's a Souls game, every time you rest, you get all your health back. and you regenerate all your stuff, but also all
Yeah.
your enemies, apart from the main bosses,
They
regenerate as
regenerate
well.
as well. Oh,
So I
okay.
killed him. Took me about 3 hours to kill him. And then was like, right, let me go and rest by this fireplace. Got back up, and the motherfucker jumped back down
Oh
again
my
and started
God.
fighting me again. And then I realised, oh, actually, I can just get on my horse and ride past him. I don't even need to fight him. So this whole, this concept of open world games where
Yeah, yeah.
I had the same. I tried to play the first Zelda on Switch,
Oh, okay.
and I couldn't do it because I was just like, I'm trying to beat this massive rock guy with a stick, and I
Hmm.
can't do it. And I didn't get that concept of you're not ready for that guy yet.
No,
You
no,
need to
no.
go away,
And then
level
come
up,
back.
and then
Yeah.
come back to him. And that's what kind of Elden Ring taught me. So I got a bit more into open world. But
That's good.
anyway, this is me waffling on. Basically, what I'm saying is what I want to do is I want to play the AAA releases. I want to play
Yeah.
the new games. And I'm not 100% a guy. I'm not, I'm not that guy. I very rarely go back to a game and try and
Hmm.
100% it. I don't really replay games. I just move on to the next one, and hopefully that's enjoyable as well. So because that's how I play games,
Yeah.
that's how my stream is going to be. Because that's my gaming time. When I'd usually be like, that's just my time to game. I don't
That's
game
good.
outside of that
Yeah, yeah.
now. So
But
for
what's the
me, it
so?
was less about what's the most beneficial to me. It was more about what would I enjoy. Um, but I think that the thing for me is that it will just give me it will hopefully give me that longevity in terms of
Yeah.
there's always something new to watch. There's always new content that I'm putting out. My feed doesn't become my content and my feed doesn't become just about a single thing.
Yeah.
And it's easier for me to swap. If I want to go on tomorrow and say, right, this stream I'm gonna finish this painting behind me.
Hmm.
It wouldn't be a massive surprise to people. If I want to go on and say
Yeah.
today on stream we're going to be writing a stupid song, that would be fine as well. Like
Yeah.
I'm not tied in. I'm not only not tied into a specific game. I'm not tied into gaming because I'm hopefully putting my audience in a position where they
That's good.
understand that gaming is one element of what I do, and there are other elements to the kind of repertoire as well, I guess.
It's an investment in you rather than an investment in Red Dead Redemption 2, like another streamer you
Yeah,
might be
yeah,
speaking to. Yeah.
yeah. And
I.e. me.
I think if it wasn't for RP,
Yeah, yeah.
there was there was I think we spoke about this before, but there is a real temptation for me to go on stream, pull
Yeah,
up
yeah.
the Arthur's final mission,
And you can just stream it all day.
spoiler alert, or
Mm.
was it American Venom? Is that
American
the
Venom,
final
yeah.
one? Pull up one of those two and go, okay, cool, I'll get my 800 viewers,
Yeah, yeah.
and and we had fun with that. We tested on you were on stream, and it's like, oh, let's
Mm.
just pull the video up of one of the endings and see what happens, and people flood in, and they
No.
think that's what they're there for. But I would go insane and I wouldn't enjoy it, and then
No.
suddenly this becomes a job where I have to do the things that
Yeah.
will get me the numbers rather than going, what do I need to
What do
do
you
to
actually
to
enjoy?
enjoy this? Yeah.
But that brings us nicely when you're thinking, so what's the future of Charm the Gamer? So what are your future plans? Are you moving into, like, I know obviously you've mentioned, you want to try and bring in different elements around, so what your creativity is. And I think like you said already, people already are bought into yourself around, if you did a
Mm,
painting stream, you did a stream around just talking about a song. What's the
mm.
future? Where do you see yourself in 6 months, a year, just from the stream element, or the content
Um,
creator element?
yeah, I mean, I don't. I'm trying to let it build out organically, and I need to get a bit better at being able to like plan forward. I think and think about
Mhm.
what content I want to be producing and what stuff that I want to put out there.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to just take opportunities as they're revealed to me, and if I have an idea, that's the beauty of this stuff and having.
Yeah.
I've got a decent camera, but there's such a good. There's equally you could do that on your phone.
Hmm.
Is if I have an idea, I can sit there and shoot it within 5-10 minutes, and
Yeah.
I can have something that looks fairly well put together easily within an hour. In some cases, within 5 minutes. You just throw something out there.
Hmm.
So for me, there's lots of things that I would love to do and lots of ideas that I've had, or thinking about things like, if I could do a documentary that follows the making of Red Dead 3, for
Yeah, you
example,
said
as
that
an
to me.
example game, because it's I'd love to do that. I'd love to go and I want to talk to um, game designers and game developers and game writers to understand how does this work. Like I know how a TV show is made. I understand that,
Yeah, yeah.
and I know how a film is made, like broadly speaking. But if you were to say to me, how do they make a game? Like, I wouldn't know where to start. I don't know whether it starts with the script. I don't know whether they get, when developers are involved. I don't know how much of their previous architecture they're using. I don't know any of that. I wouldn't even know. I'm fairly decent technically. Like,
Hmm.
if you asked me to look at website code, I could probably understand what was going on there.
Okay.
But I don't know. I don't even know what language a game is written in. I have
Yeah,
no
yeah.
understanding of it at all. So, you know, I'm interested in that. So I'd be interested to speak to people about that. And then if that becomes a thing of going, okay, here's an hour long documentary, or
Hmm.
here's a 10-hour documentary, a 10 episode documentary that follows the making of a game like Red Dead 3 from
Oh,
right,
yeah.
we know they're going to do it. That's been announced, and then going, okay, let's talk to the writers. Let's go through the process of this is the script. Let's
Yeah.
go through the designers and talk about the character development, and let's go through the developers and talk about how they actually build the thing. Let's talk about the marketing of it. Let's talk about all that stuff. And you go, okay, well, how do Rockstar do that from beginning to end? With it kind of ending with the release of the game. That would be a really interesting project for me, but probably one that would take 5 years to
Exactly. Yeah.
to produce. Um,
But like you said,
Depending on when Rockstar
it links in
gets
more with
started.
creativity. You're thinking of, I don't just want to choose, gaming is great for now. You see yourself in a
Mm,
year doing documentary on this or that, and a classic is that Sunny V YouTuber. He talks around, you just understand the arc and the pitfalls of people who have streamed and not, elements like that.
mm.
I could see you getting into that, of understanding people's journeys and reviewing that as well. But it's crazy. No, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
I think, but like for me, it's just what am I interested? If I'm
Yeah,
interested in something, for the most part, there's going to be someone else who's interested in it, and hopefully,
yeah,
lots of other people that are interested in it, and it just takes someone to go and make that thing to then make it interesting. I don't think I don't at the moment. I don't feel like streaming will go away for me. Um,
hmm,
there's lots of people that I watch that are streaming now, but they do other stuff like they're actors or they're comedians or whatever,
yeah, 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 yeah,
or they're musicians. And streaming is one of the elements that they do. So I feel like that's the live performance element of it, and
yeah,
then
yeah.
there might be other elements where it's like I'm working on this thing in the background, I'm doing this thing in the background, or there might be games where I go, actually, I just want to experience this. Maybe I don't want to play it on stream. It's something that I'll do in the background, and I think it's just finding the balance between those things. But yeah, I'll continue doing things that kind of fulfill me creatively and try and make content out of that. Mainly because that stuff doesn't require me to necessarily be at a PC or
Hmm.
next to my PlayStation or whatever. I know if I go on holiday for a week, I can edit a load of posts and get them scheduled in to go out, or I can make content whilst I'm away and
Yeah.
do that kind of stuff as well. It's whatever comes up and whatever ideas I have, um, and hopefully just try and make them as entertaining as possible.
What I like your journey is what like you're saying is you're going to be flexible. So it might be one week you'll be doing a certain thing that's related to you, and I like that. And obviously thinking about the recent videos, I know it's fun with Melvin, but you're tapping into a different creative side of I'm not just a streamer. I'm this. I'm doing that. I'm messing around with it.
Mm.
So definitely think you'd be successful. But I've got two more questions before we close, so we've got to wrap it up for timings. So the first one is
Six here,
from
you weren't expecting. Socket was giving you one-word answers, and I'm giving you 30,000 word essays, mate. It's a
Yeah,
nightmare.
so if you've heard the socket one as well, it's obviously it's good to see from a different element. And obviously he's been streaming for years of a
Yeah,
completely different, and it's so good just to see people's journeys and understanding people's characters because it's completely different. But the two
yeah, yeah.
questions I've got for you,
I liked his. I liked his. It was good.
I think
Go
as I
for it.
said,
Hit me.
it's different, isn't it? Everyone's got a different journey. Obviously for me, it's just mental around craziness of actually streaming to now just sort of fell into it yourself. You was always destined for something live, whether it's a theatre,
Yeah,
whether it's a stand up, or whether it's so. It's I think you were always destined for it. But like the ability of you can jump in and out and doing different stuff. And Socket, as we know, is just mad. So it's
yes,
just
yeah.
mad. Right, so the two questions I've got for you, first of all. So the one from the previous stream. So at the end of every stream, the person I've interviewed will send me a message afterwards and they'll just say, ask me a question for the next person. So it isn't
Hmm.
that crazy, but if you could choose to be any animal, what would you be and why?
You know what? I read a response to this question
Yeah.
that from just weirdly on
Yeah.
TikTok, and someone's response was, "I'd be a pigeon and I'd just hang around town eating pasties all day." That was their response to it. What animal would I be? Uh, I mean, cat looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Just just chilled most
Just
of the
chilling.
time, sleeping, fed. Um, but then there's downsides to that as well. You have to shit in a box, don't you?
Yeah.
Which is not great. Um,
Some do it on a toilet.
yeah,
You've
I'd be
seen videos
something
on
where there's like
TikTok.
limited danger and I'm just chilling mainly.
Right. A domesticated animal, you'd say.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right.
You're not gonna be out in the fucking wild, are you? I mean, everyone's saying, I'd be a lion. You'd
Yeah,
be a
you wouldn't be.
lion until a bigger fucking lion comes along and tries
Yeah.
to rip your throat out. Then you'd be like, actually,
I want to be a
this is
pigeon.
not so good. Yeah. Being a wild animal's a nightmare. If you're not being hunted, you're having to hunt. And both of
Yeah.
those things sound like a bloody pain in the ass to me.
Which that's millions of years ago, isn't it? But the final question I do
Yeah,
have
yeah,
for you. The final question I have for you.
yeah.
So, top 3 games of all time. Rank your top 3.
People ask me this question, and the problem
Yeah.
is my all time is 2 years ago. So
Okay.
I don't have the
That's fine though. That's fine.
nostalgia. But I would go. Um,
You have to put them in order if you don't want it. If you think of these are the best 3 that I've played, because sometimes it can be difficult. Because
yeah,
mine
it
isn't Red
is a
Dead
pain
2.
in the and it also it's a little bit apples and oranges, right?
Yeah.
It's you're not comparing games like for like.
No.
I
No.
would go God of War 2018.
Yep.
Just because it was like the first, like I said, the
Big one.
first kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
AAA rated game that I played, and it was amazing. I would say, I've got to put Red Dead Redemption 2 in there, I think, because it just it had me gasping
Mm.
left, right, and center. Fuck, there's way more than three. Uh,
It's tough on them. It's tough.
I'll go Elden Ring as well,
Oh wow.
just because it's such a huge map, such a challenging game,
Yeah.
and I really surprised myself that I finished it. I had lots of friends who either didn't get past the first field or who just packed it in, and it kind of introduced me to open world, which was really beneficial because there's so many great open world games out there, but you just have to have the right mindset when you go into them, otherwise they're a pain in the ass. But yeah,
Good
those are
list.
three. But like this year, I've also The Last of Us and The Last of Us Part
Yeah.
Two,
I thought you'd say
which I'm
that.
going there.
I definitely thought you'd say Last of Us.
Well, the thing is with Last of Us, I'd watched the television series before I
Right.
played the
Okay.
game, so I knew what was going to happen. Whereas Red Dead, I'd managed to have no spoilers.
Yeah.
Last of Us Part Two has genuinely made me go. There was a bit in it the other day that I played where I was like,
Mm.
"Oh my god, what have I done?" Like I genuinely felt like
Yeah.
I'd made a big mistake in this game. But yeah, then there's like Hogwarts Legacy, which was great because I love Harry Potter, and it felt like getting a letter to Hogwarts, and
Yeah.
fairly, just another open world game, but just really good, really nice mechanics. Yeah, everything I've played. There's only one game that pissed me off, and that was Returnal on PS5,
I
and
haven't played
I'll
that.
pack that in because it's got procedurally generated maps, so
Right.
every time you die, you lose everything and you start at the beginning again.
So like RP
Um,
basically.
yes,
Yeah.
but every time you spawned into RP,
You learn nothing.
the route
Oh,
to
right.
get to Valentine was different and you didn't have a map. So you
That's
go through
crazy.
these different sections, and every time the sections change order and the map changes. So
That's
you never
crazy.
know what's going on. And it's one of those things. What are they like? It's where it's just like thousands of fucking bullets being fired at you. You
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
dodge around them, and I couldn't do it. And every time you die to a boss who were tough, you start at the beginning again. It take you like
Oh.
when I was playing it would take you like 20 minutes to get back to them, and you couldn't save. You
No,
couldn't
there's no
save
save points.
at any point. You had to just go back to the beginning again. So yeah, I packed that in. Fucking hated it.
Good. Good.
Made
It's a good
me
list. It's a good
furious.
list. I'm pleased Red Dead Redemption 2's up there. I like it, obviously, as most of you know it.
Yeah.
Good. So so where can everyone find you? So I know we mentioned before. So any shout outs from yourself? Where can people find you? I'll put your links obviously in the description to your TikTok, Twitch. Have you got anything else you want
Yeah,
to shout out on?
I think the easiest way to find all of my stuff is through my website, and there's links to
Okay.
everything from there. So it's charmthegamer.com, and that has the podcast. It has links to YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Spotify, or podcasts. There's too many platforms for me to list them out. But if you go to charmthegamer.com, everything is on there. And if you want to buy a T-shirt that says
Yep.
I'm a charmer on it,
Classified merch.
I mean, you definitely don't have to, but it's, you know, all the stuff is on the website basically, and you can see just loads of different pictures of me doing different poses and all my videos. So yeah, that's the place to go.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Charm. You've charmed me.
Oh, mate, that's my only aim.
Definitely
That's
an
my
excuse
only aim.
charmer. No, I should have
Could've come in
asked you
and
where's
been
the
an
name come
absolute
from.
dick.
I've never
Well,
asked.
Charmer Fesniv. So it started off. I was trying to use my real name on my PlayStation.
Yeah.
But for anyone who set up a PlayStation bloody 20 years after the first one came out, and you're trying to find an online profile name, like none of the versions of my real name were available unless I wanted to add like 739216 hash on the end or whatever. So I tried to type charm offensive, like going on the charm offensive. I tried to type that in, and to my surprise, charm offensive was available. So I confirmed it, and then when I looked at it, I had misspelt charm offensive as charm offensive. And I thought it's such an arrogant choice of name that I deserve that it's misspelt. But I changed. So most people just, even when they saw that, they would just call me Charm, or they'd call me Charm Offensive, which was not right because it's a misspelling. So I just changed it to Charm, but Charm is not available on any platform. So I went with Charm the Gamer. Yeah, here we are.
Amazing. Yeah. So it's been a great pleasure. Thank you for joining. I'm guarantee you'll probably be in the next few episodes, and we come back a little bit later, have a little catch up, see where you are as well.
Yeah, man.
But thank you. No, I really appreciate it for joining. For all those you who are listening, or you're watching, Charm the Gamer, the link will be in there. Please make sure you drop him a follow. So he goes live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and occasionally some weekends. That's on TikTok, Twitch, and maybe future platforms as well. So thank you.
How long are you going to grow the beard, Dad? That's what people really want to know. How long are you going to grow it?
We'll see. I do want to grow it, but other people in the family are saying you need to cut it. It's only 7 weeks.
Those are the people your
yeah, so kids and stuff, like, you need to grow it. It's starting getting too big. I probably just need to shape it a bit,
People started throwing change. If you sit on the side of the street, the people throw change at you, because that's the danger zone.
So if you've seen the Red Dead RP character, it was originally Mexican. So when they get a bit of a tan and they grow the beard, everyone in my family go, "You really look Mexican." I don't know if that's offensive or not,
maybe.
But they just
maybe. Who knows?
But that's why my Red Dead character is a Mexican, but then he's Irish.
So you're trying to recreate your Red Dead character.
I'm trying to create. I'm putting my personality out there.
All right, mate.
No worries, but thank you for joining.
Thanks for getting me on.
I'll catch you next one. Cheers, mate.